Hey gorgeous people, I hope you're having a great start on your Friday and it's been a fabulous week. I hope you guys have all had a fabulous week as well. And one of the things that I guess really noticed for myself this week is really needing to strip back lots of things at the moment. So, sorry, messages coming through and distracting. Stripping back lots of things at the moment, things that are no longer serving me at all. Hey Kim, great to have you on, honey. Say hi if you're on, send me some love. Hey Lisa, I just saw your message come through, babe. And Christy, good to have you guys on. Hey Julie, lovely to have you on too, honey. So definitely I'll be sharing a couple of really cool things which I got from, hey Rosie, great to have you on too, darling. And Jerry, good morning. So I'm reading this fabulous book. It actually hasn't got the cover on it at the moment, but it's the Warrior Goddess Training, and I learnt 4 really cool things last night that I'd love to share, simply because I think it really extends, hey Crystal, really extends into definitely helps us to understand ourselves and where we kind of go at times when we do go under stress. But one of the things that I really noticed was I'd really overcommitted in so many areas. Sometimes I get so excited and so passionate about taking things to the next level, and it's like, yes, I'll do that, and yes, I'll do that, and yes, I'll do that. And next minute, hey Teresa, hey Annette, and next minute I'm like just exhausted and in resentment and like all this stuff going on. Oh my God, I can't do it. And you know, I think we can all kind of get like that at times as well. So no doubt, I'm sure you guys will relate. And if not, that's okay. Maybe it's just me that gets a little bit over ambitious at times, because I do get really excited. But really, so yesterday I took a lot of time to get really super clear on what is really critical and most important. Critical is probably not the right word, but what is most important to me in my life. And it is a question that I ask myself quite regularly, but I really needed to drill down even further, just to strip away and to really find the things that I actually really needed to say no to at the moment. It's not a no forever, but it's just that's actually not going to serve me, by splitting my focus and energy in so many different ways as well. So this is really powerful, even just to take some time to journal on for yourself. If you're feeling a little bit pushed or a little bit stressed, we can all get busy being busy, but are we actually working on the things that are going to give us the greatest movement forward in terms of our overall goals and where we're wanting to head in life? Or are you finding that your focus is just split in so many different directions? Every single time we think about something that we want to do or we want to achieve, and we put it down as a goal, or we just have the thought or the idea, or it goes down on the to-do list, it's like sending a unit of energy and a unit of focus out into the universe. And so obviously if there's too many things with kind of unfinished stages that are actually happening out there, then that's like a lot of energy that we're actually putting outwards that is incomplete in that moment. It's why when we're going for a goal, if we feel like we can't kind of get to that goal, we either cut ourselves off from it, disassociate and say, no, look, it wasn't really important anyway, or because the longer that goal is there and the bigger that goal is, that produces a greater amount of tension as well within us, until we either move towards the goal or we make the goal less and bring the goal back a little bit closer, because the tension can kind of get too big as well. So this all goes back into like our energy and our focus and everything else. So and if you guys have any questions around this as well, of course, you know, I always love the interaction and love the love hearts and all of that. So feel free at any point just to jump in and ask questions as well. But my main thing around all of this is when you get really super stressed. So if you've got a lot going on in your life, number one, like do a brain dump. Just get everything out of your head when it's in our head. And particularly as women, we have the ability to be able to carry so much more information in our head. We're hardwired that way. But it can be really distracting and really exhausting when we're recycling a lot of that information over and over and over, and then we get stressed, we're going to forget something, or we're not going to follow through with something. So there's all these thoughts and ideas, and it's when our head gets so full of white noise at times as well. So I love that, Kim. It's such a great book. I'm really enjoying it. So I've got the audio, the companion book, as well as the hardcover book. And I'll actually be bringing some of those trainings into the Sacred Connection as well. I definitely want to share some of those things with the girls in the Sacred Connection group too. So that'll be really fabulous. Hey, Joey, great to have you on. So definitely the 4 things, obviously, that I was going to share. Number 1, controller. So, and just kind of, I really identify honestly with all 4. So just kind of feel into where you feel like your main kind of one might be, or if you feel like you identify with all of them, which one would be your strongest pattern. So these are all just strategies of how we actually deal with things when we get stressed, when we get fearful, when we get a little bit worried, oh, how's things going to work out, or are they going to work out, and all those things. So the first strategy that can come up for people is controller. So it's the need to try and control things. And I definitely identify with this probably more so a few years ago when I was terrified and I was trying to control so much of my external world. I needed things done a particular way. I was very rigid in my approach. So it was like, it needs to happen this way. And we can become very opinionated as well and be trying to control things for other people as well. Rosie, I'll come back to your question in a sec. Hey, Louisa. So controller. And now all of these strategies have certain gifts with them as well. But one of the, I guess, if there's a weakness with it though, it's not actually having the ability to, or having a lessened ability to be able to collaborate, receive help. We tend to be like, no, it's got to be done my way, very opinionated and just like trying to control it. And it's exhausting and stressful. The second one, and I may not be saying these in the appropriate order, but the second one is pleaser. So this is where we just tend to say yes to everything. Yes, we want to make people happy. And that can be exhausting as well, because we sometimes have an unwritten rule, and I definitely had that of I can't be happy until everybody else is happy. Hey Mick, great to have you on. And that's exhausting. And it's like it leaves us feeling frantic and out of control as well, because, what level of control do we have really over other people's happiness? We can do what we can support them and we can help them and everything else, but ultimately everyone's happiness is really up to themselves. So that can be exhausting as well and leaves us feeling quite chaotic and out of control and exhausted. Yes, it's definitely me as well, Lisa, so don't be too hard on yourself. All of these come with really good gifts as well, so I'll run through the gifts as well. There's distractor. I kind of really resonate with distractor right at this moment. So distractor is like when we've got so much going on and we get a little bit scared that we just we're great multitaskers, so generally we can get a lot done and have the ability to be quite flexible in mentally and be able to switch from thing to thing to thing, but it's like you never actually really follow through, you never actually really get things done or completed. So it's like a second that it kind of gets like a little bit of an obstacle or a little bit tricky, it's like we distract ourselves, oh, I'll just go work on this, or oh, I'll just go do that, and it's really exhausting. Hey Reva, great to have you on, hun. Hey Deb. So that can be exhausting. And then the last one, so we've got controller, we've got pleaser, we've got distractor, and then we've also got isolator. So isolator is really when we start to withdraw from the world, when we want to make ourselves small, we feel either embarrassed or we feel a little bit ashamed of kind of where we're at or what's actually happening, or even of our feelings as well. So that can be, we're isolating, we're withdrawing from other people. Now that can be really resourceful as well. It all just depends on the energy that we're actually doing that. And for myself, like as an introvert, I definitely isolate myself at times, more so these days from a genuine place of, I just need some time out for me. I'm going to take some time, going to fill my bucket up. So it's quite resourceful. Whereas in the past, I used to withdraw and go, oh my God, nobody loves me, nobody likes me. All this story that I used to kind of be heavily into as well. Hey Jen, great to have you on. So Rosie, it sounds like you really resonate with the isolator. So all of these really have great gifts as well. So controller, obviously, makes things happen as well. So that is a genuine gift. And our ability to be able to make decisions and move forward and get things done. So that's like the great gift of the controller. And so if you find that you really resonate with the controller, one of the things in the book actually mentions to spend a week actually not having sorry, I'm just looking at your message as well too, Kim. So definitely, like, we all have a blend of introvert and extrovert. So there'll be some part of us which, you know, really needs to withdraw at times as well, and that's completely okay. I think, you know, the more being an introvert or an extrovert is really how we're filled up with our energy. So sometimes if we're more of an extrovert, we'll be more needing to fill up, obviously, with the energy around, like socially and all of that. Whereas for introverts, it's more they need to fill up when they're by themselves. So that's the only difference, really. I mean, there's a whole, obviously, a lot around that, but I think we all have a blend of introvert and extrovert within ourselves. I know there's very much a large part of me that's extrovert. Just when I do the percentages, I am largely more an introvert, and it's where I feel like my greatest connection with spirit or with my soul is having that time out as well, where I can really quiet my mind, not be distracted, and really receive wonderful channeling information and things like that as well. Hey Rob, great to have you on, sweetheart. Are you still over in Hawaii? I bet you're still having an amazing time. So going back to what I was saying before around the controller, so if you really over-identify, or not over-identify, but if you identify or relate with the controller, one of the things that's suggested is actually go a week without giving your opinion. You may find that really challenging. I know I probably would, and I know at times that's one of the things that I'm working on at the moment, is just closing my mouth when somebody talks. It's not needing to jump in, it's not needing to fix, it's not needing to change, it's just purely listening and being truly present with somebody as well. Hey Chris, great to have you on. So that can be a great thing if you tend to be more a pleaser. The great gift around this is you have a huge heart, and you really, you are very much service focused, and sometimes that can lean into being unresourceful for you. So the challenge for the pleasers is to say no for a week. Just say no to everything and anything that anybody's asking you to do. It will be quite challenging. So, if you go to somebody's house, not jumping in and doing the dishes and doing all of those things that you would normally be doing for other people as well. So that could be a great challenge for you. For the distractor, it's really about coming back to do one thing, and being able to, so distractors again are great multitaskers and have like a flurry of ideas and everything else, but it's really coming back and just starting to focus. So that's the challenge, is just to do one thing at the one time. And for isolators, it's about getting out and actually socializing a little bit more as well. So you could set yourself that challenge for the week, and just see kind of what shifts or changes for you, and what improves, what you find really challenging, and just notice that. And I think the more that we can kind of extend ourselves outside of that comfort zone on some level as well, can really make a huge difference in, I know for me, like I said, the controller, and just noticing like when those things come up. And it's not about judging that, it's not about making it wrong or anything else, it's just noticing and going, oh, how fascinating. I'm running this strategy at the moment. Is that really resourceful for me? What would be a more resourceful way of dealing with this situation, or do I need to shift my perspective? Where am I engaging in fear, and how could I expand fully or further into love as well? So I think that it's such a great way of just increasing our self-awareness, and of course just coming back, having conversations with other people about it as well, which increases all of our awareness too. So hey Sandra, great to have you on, sweetheart. So I'll just go back to, Rosie had a question here as well. So what if you have one thing that could make all others easier, but it's slightly off track to your wanted path? Well, that's an interesting statement. Maybe, Rosie, like, because I find it really interesting, and it was one thing I came across years ago, was like, I want to make certain that I'm on my path. You can't ever actually be off your path. That's just a belief that I actually have now, simply because even if we're off our path, we're off learning something that we need to in order to be on our path. So there's no right or wrong. I think maybe, and it could just be a judgment, around that. And maybe you could do some journaling around, is this fully aligned for me? Does this meet my values? And is this in integrity? And actually, even from listening to the audio book, I actually hadn't looked up the meaning of the word integrity, but apparently it means wholeness. So it's really, that wholeness within self. So if it feels like it's slightly off path, I would just investigate that for yourself in terms of, is it matching and meeting my values? Could there be another way of actually achieving this or creating this through a different way that I actually hadn't looked at, or I hadn't been aware of, or I hadn't taken notice of? Or are there other opportunities that are more aligned for me as well? And that's not to say that we need to jump out of one boat and jump into another boat or anything else. It is a little bit tricky because I don't know the context around that. But definitely, look, if there's one thing that makes everything else easier, I'm all up for that. Ease and flow and grace and being supported and allowing ourselves to receive is so important, particularly as feminine women. And I think it's something that we can all kind of do with a bit better practice at. It's something I've been practicing, just receiving more, because it can feel uncomfortable. And I think as kids, we can be hardwired to be doers, to be really stepping into, needing to prove our worth or needing to do something in order to finally be valuable or be enough. And it's, all of that's ego survival mind. It's been anchored and programmed in at a subconscious level between 0 and 7. And it's actually not the real us. The real us is just so divinely valuable and amazing and perfect and complete and whole exactly as we are right now. And we're also continuing to evolve and grow as well. So hopefully that answered your question, Rosie. I know that you put down things there. So that's perfect. And yeah, if anybody else has got any other questions about that, I'm more than happy to answer that. But yeah, maybe just take some time to journal or explore. For me, I'm just going to be picking one of them. And one of them is probably more the pleaser. I feel like I've still got a little bit more work to do around that. I have done a lot of work about that, and really staying centered in myself and sticking to my own agenda. And I say that with love. It's not to say that, it's all totally one way, but what I know is when I feel fulfilled, when I feel on my path, when I feel like I've filled my bucket up, I've just got a plethora of love to give, and joy and happiness to share with others. When I let my bucket run too empty, which I think a lot of women can do, and I've certainly done many times, we fall into some of those emotions like anger and resentment. And I used to judge myself really badly for feeling that way because I used to not like that. But now I just notice it as a red flag and go, hey dude, you just need to take some time out, or you need to schedule some things in for yourself, or like, hey, let's just have fun. How about that? Like, we can all get so serious in life and feel like so, I guess, in the trenches at times as well. And just kind of taking that step back, that lighthearted approach. Oh my goodness, if I could bring some more fun into today, what would I be doing? How would I be being? Because who we actually are, so how we are being, or who we're being in the moment, is what gives us the greatest joy. It's not necessarily what we're doing, it's how we actually feel in the moment by who we're being. So if we're being happy, if we're being joyous, if we're being loving, we generally, like, that feels better and more aligned for ourselves, as opposed to being angry or being resentful or being frustrated or being tired or being exhausted. So all of those things, and we can do the same thing in a very different state. So we can wash the dishes being angry, or we can wash the dishes being grateful. And it's all just a matter of shifting our perspective, changing up through our emotions. So I do have a couple of places, like if you're looking for the emotional mastery, I know a couple of you on here already booked in for the Authentic Happiness Intensive Weekend. I am so super pumped. We've only got 3 places left with that. So that is on the 8th and 9th of September. So if any of this resonates for you, or you're like, I just want some ideas on how to gain greater emotional mastery, or perhaps, what's been driving a lot of my decisions from the past, because whilst these are all strategies, it's really understanding, why do I go into that strategy to begin with? which will really help to resolve a lot of deeper kind of things, deeper patterns and things that have been happening for you, and give you a greater understanding of why people act the way that they do. And then we take it less personally as well, which I think is just such a great gift. If we can free ourselves from taking things personally, life just gets a whole lot easier. I used to take everything personally. I used to think it was all about something that I'd done or anything else, which goes back into then needing to please other people and feeling really scared and needing that external validation that I've done the right thing or that people are happy with me. And when we can strip all that away and just come back to our innate self and make the right decisions and choices for us, knowing full well that when we do that and we're taking care of the highest good for us, it's also for the greater good and for the highest good of others as well. So if you're interested in finding out about that, please PM me, send me a message. We're also, Robin and I are running our Sacred Connection group on the 6th of September. So a lot going on early September, which would be fabulous. If you're in the local Wagga area, we totally would love to meet you, and you're more than welcome to come down if that really resonates with you as well. If you're from out of town, you can grab an online ticket. We will be live streaming the group, and it'll be an amazing group of women just coming together, networking, meeting, getting amongst like-minded women, all sharing, supporting, nurturing, bouncing ideas off each other, and being able to really raise other women up, inspire and connect other women and empower them to step further and further into their own path and their own journey. It's all different for each of us, and we've all got that inner voice and we've all got our own answers. Sometimes our mind just kind of gets a bit funky and gets in the way there. So having a group where you can tap into some of that other wisdom as well will be fabulous. So really, really excited. Yes, and I totally love fun as well, Rob. Sorry. Hey, Naomi. Hey, Cecilia. And hey, PJ, great to have you guys on. So it'll be so amazing, and I can't wait. When Robin gets back, we'll be having a catch up as well, and just really fine tune our intentions for the group and what we'd like to create there as well. But having definitely some different speakers come in the region that are doing amazing healing work or supporting women in different various ways, and they'll be sharing with each of you as well that choose to come along to the Sacred Connection group how they're supporting women and how you potentially can work with them if their message or what they're actually doing really resonates with you as well. So lots of great stuff there. Have an amazing day, guys. So much love and gratitude to you all, and thank you so much for tuning in. And if this has been of help to you, please tag or share, or just obviously, the more that we can empower and raise other women up, we all get to heal in the process as well. And I know there's been so many amazing, gorgeous women on my journey that have truly supported me and helped me. And I think when we have that gift, and we've been given that gift, when we're allowing ourselves to fill up our own bucket, then we naturally just want to share that with other people as well. So how beautiful. Thank you, Rob. Enjoy Hawaii, darling, and I can't wait to catch up with you when you get back. Have a fabulous day, guys. Lots of love to you all. Bye for now.